Southern trees
Get her off that stage.
bear strange fruit.
They won't let me sing nowhere. No clubs, no money, no nothing.
So it's very much a pleasure to be chatting with you. Congratulations on this film. It's beautiful and really beautifully portrayed the life of Billie Holiday. So, Billie Holiday was the first person to perform Strange Fruit on stage. She sang about the lynching of Black people across America, but despite putting her life and her career on the line, she is not known as a civil rights activist. Why is this?
The government made it a point for us not to know. The man that took her down was honored by John F. Kennedy. They didn't want us to know this at all.
And I think we've seen that a lot in Black history, where we're taught aspects of the story, but not the complete story. And I think that's our job as a community, is to continue to tell our stories accurately and recraft that narrative. Strange Fruit is kind of the gold standard.
There was a lot of artists that made such impact and weren't really a part of the movement in the sense of speaking out in certain ways and doing certain stuff. But I think Billie Holiday, just singing that song, even when they tried to force her not and put her in jail and the whole thing, she still did it. And I think that is a part of the movement.
We have the tendency to overlook those that start a movement, that start a culture shift when it's not popular. And when that turns into a social norm, then those people that get that it's a social norm and then they start to do it, those are the ones that society likes to remember. But it is also our jobs to make sure that we allow matriculation on those that made it possible. And that is who Billie Holiday is. That is what this movie will do.
As of 4 years ago, if you walked into the Federal Bureau of Narcotics Museum in Washington, D.C., there's a picture of Billie Holiday up there and a picture of Anslinger up there. This is an example of how the system works.
The reason so many were so unaware of Billie Holiday being such a civil rights force was because she was so continuously silenced. And I think that's
Absolutely.
Something that's so wonderful about this film. It's going to give her legacy a voice so people can understand the traumatic history and opposition that she faced racially, for being an addict, for being an artist, for trying to make a difference and make a change. Exactly what my character, Harry Anslinger, despised.
It wasn't about anything other than bringing Billie Holiday down. Other actresses and famous people in Hollywood at the time were known addicts who were getting help for their situation. So it was the war on Black people.
So imagine Billie Holiday, first of all, just being a Black woman, right? That we can let alone right there. And then being a Black woman in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and then having the whole government come after you, having this burden to sing about your people. And then sometimes your people are even rejecting you. They criminalize it and have this idea of addiction as they're just trying to get higher. And
trying to fill a hole in your life.
Yes.
Trying to fill something this void in your life. I saw so much of myself in Billie, except at least there was a support team around me. A support team, and Black people don't want to talk about it because it's the stigma to it.
What do you hope to have contributed to Billie Holiday's legacy by being a part of this film?
That she was a civil rights leader, that she kicked off the civil rights movement with that song, as Andra so beautifully says, was the godmother of the civil rights movement.
There are select biopics of Black lives that within our culture will stand the test of time. And when I read this script, I had got the gut feeling that this would be one of those.
Changing our narratives, right? Manipulating our narratives and suppressing our narratives is a huge integral part of continuing a system of oppression.
Yeah.
It's continuing injustice, it's continuing systemic injustice. And so really what I hope that people take from this is, okay, if I didn't know Billie Holiday was the godmother of civil rights, what else don't I know?
And Evan, your mom had the opportunity to play Billie Holiday in Lady Sings the Blues. And this was her first debut, your mother's first film debut. Did she tell you about that experience and sort of the significance of it in her life?
Yeah, it was a huge moment in her life. Even talking to her about it now, it's a very emotional thing because she feels very connected to her. That movie is one of my favorite movies. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to act. I thought it was so amazing what she did. But yeah, we've talked through all this, you know, because I think she's happy to know that people will be able to experience her and know such an amazing woman, because I think it's so important for us to keep sharing the work of all these amazing artists and people that have really changed the world in a lot of ways, you know.